So guys, now that we have seen pretty much every single LEGO Star Wars set that is going to be releasing this summer, including 2 brand new Clone Wars based sets, I thought it'd be a great time to take a look back at the history of this theme and count down the top 10 best LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars sets ever made. So we're only going to be looking at sets that are based off the Clone Wars TV series. That means not Rebels or Bad Batch or even the original Clone Wars series that aired on Cartoon Network. None of those shows, only the animated 2008 Clone Wars TV series. Now before we get into it, I did want to give a really quick reminder that the giveaway for $100 worth of your choice of LEGO sets is still going on, so you could actually win 2 of these brand new Clone Wars sets yourselves. All you got to do to enter is make sure you are subscribed, follow that link in the description, and then sign in with your YouTube account. That's it, super simple and 100% free. Also, it turns out that less than 7% of you guys watching these videos are subscribed to the channel, so make sure you subscribe because it's free and you'll also get a chance at winning some free LEGO sets. Anyways, let's get back to the video here. So starting off at number 10, we have set number 75004, the Z95 Headhunter. This set was released in 2013 and it retailed for $50 and included 373 pieces. Now this set is actually based off of one of my favorite story arcs in the entire Clone Wars TV series, that being the Umbara arc. In those 4 episodes we get to see these ships a lot, although I'm not sure if they're used again anywhere else in the Clone Wars. I know the ship looks very generic to some of the other starfighters we've seen, but something about it just looks really nice to me. It almost looks like a Clone Wars version of an X-Wing starfighter. Like, the Clone Troopers don't really have a starfighter that is like the X-Wing. I guess they do have the ARC 170 starfighters, but those have to be piloted by 3 people and they're much larger, so this reminds me a lot more of an X-Wing in that way. The build for this set is really nice and it looks exactly as it needs to, it just gets the job done. But some of the best things here are definitely the minifigures. You get Pong Krell, a 501st pilot, and a 501st Legion Clone Trooper. Now before we got our updated 501st Clone Troopers, these were some top of the line minifigures, and these were some of the only sets that you could get these troopers in. Yes, these Clone Troopers may look a little bit dated compared to today's standards, but for 2013, I think these minifigures still hold up. Now the really cool one here is Pong Krell. It's a very unique minifigure that uses some very unique molding. I know he does end up joining the Sith, but in general, we don't really see Jedis with double-bladed lightsabers. And this minifigure here has 2 of them, and on top of that, he has 4 arms. So I think he's a great-looking minifigure, and it just adds so much to this set. So I might be a little bit biased on this one just because of my attachment to the Umbara arc, but either way, this is a great spot for number 10. On to number 9 here with set number 75316, the Mandalorian Starfighter. This is one of our brand new 2021 sets, and it's going to retail for $60 and include 544 pieces. Now, you guys know me, I absolutely love Mandalorians. I even wear a Mandalorian helmet, so getting a set like this that is completely based around Mandalore, that being a Mandalorian Starfighter, as well as a bunch of different Mandalorians in different armors, this set just appeals to me so much. Let's talk about the build here first. I think this is a big upgrade compared to the last version that we saw. The last version that we got was Pre Vizsla's Mandalorian fighter, and while that build was pretty cool, I do think it was a little bit too light, like there were too many white bricks used, whereas this one is a lot more darker in tone and it makes it look a lot more realistic. It also does have the feature where you can rotate the wings and put it into flight mode, and in general I do think the build does look pretty awesome. I have heard some complaints by fans that it does look a little bit small, and while I can see that, I still think it works pretty well for the price, especially since you can actually fit 2 different pilots in the cockpit. Like, I know it looks pretty small in these images, but trust me, it's going to look a lot bigger in person. Now the Starfighter here is really cool and everything, but the big part about this set has got to be the minifigures. So as you guys know, I have been asking for a Bo-Katan minifigure for years now, and we finally got an official variation of her, and she looks absolutely amazing in her Mandalorian armor. I would have liked to see a brand new mold for the Mandalorian helmet here. I do think the old one they've been using since Boba Fett has become a little bit too old. Like, it just doesn't capture the look of some of these new Mandalorians like Din Djarin and even Bo-Katan here. So I would have liked to see a new mold for the helmet, but I still think this gets the job done. And on top of that, we get one of the coolest looking Mandalorians of all time in my opinion, that being Gar Saxon in his Season 7 Clone Wars outfit. This minifigure's prints and everything look great as well, and on top of this, he has a brand new helmet mold, which is almost necessary for a minifigure like this due to his horns. I think LEGO did an absolutely amazing job with this figure. The prints look great, and it's all even better because it's done on a gunmetal gray minifigure. And then just as a bonus, you get another Mandalorian who also has some great prints and details as well. So overall, I think it's a great set, and I think it may be one of the best sets from this wave. I actually put out a poll recently asking you guys what you thought the best set from this wave was, and a lot of you guys seem to be voting for this set. And honestly, I was kind of surprised by that. I thought a lot of people would have been into like Moff Gideon's Light Cruiser, or maybe even the New Slave 1, but this set seemed to be the most popular, and I can definitely see why. So that was going to do it for number 9. Let's get on to number 8 here with set number 8098, the Clone Turbo Tank. This set was released all the way back in 2010, and it retailed for $120 $120 and includes 1,141 pieces. Now to me, turbo tanks are absolutely amazing. They're one of my favorite clone vehicles. So normally a set like this at this size would be ranked way higher on this list, but the thing is we got an updated version of the turbo tank in 2016, and I do think that set was much better than this one. So because that this set has dropped down in my rankings quite a bit, but I still think it's a really great set. For the most part, I think the build looks pretty nice, but there's one area that looks kind of off, and that has to be the wheels and the axles. They look way too thin and empty to me, but that was sort of addressed in the 2016 one, although that one did look a little bit off as well. Regardless, I still think this is a very cool vehicle, and as Clone Wars sets go, this is one of the best ones that we've gotten. You also get a great lineup of minifigures. You have a couple of clone troopers. There's Cad Bane, Aayla Secura, Ahsoka, and Anakin. Now again, I'm not the biggest fan of these Clone Wars style prints with the big animated eyes, but these minifigures do still look pretty cool. Especially that Cad Bane minifigure. I still don't have him in my collection, and I've always wanted this one. But yeah, as Clone Wars sets go, this is a really cool one, and I'm sure that we're going to see even better updated versions of this turbo tank in the future. Alright, on to number 7 here with set number 7964, the Republic Frigate. This set was released in 2011, and it retailed for $120 and included 1,015 pieces. Now, right off the bat, the reason that I like this set so much, which a lot of you guys probably already know, is just because it's a cruiser. I like getting these large spaceships from the Star Wars universe, which is something that we don't see all that often, especially since most of the times that we see a large cruiser, it's going to be a Star Destroyer. Like, there are so many large and cool ships in the Star Wars universe, yet LEGO seems to be obsessed with the Imperial Star Destroyers. We have gotten variations of this Republic Frigate before, but I do think this is one of the best ones. It's an all-around versatile set that you can use in so many different scenarios, whether it be the Clone Wars, prior to the Clone Wars, or even the Galactic Civil War. This ship could fit into so many different eras, and I think LEGO did a great job for the build of this set. There's a lot of cool interior areas, as well as an escape pod feature as well. So as cruisers go, this is one of the best that LEGO has ever made, and I would like them to continue to make sets just like this. Now for the minifigure lineup here, we do get some really great minifigures. We have Yoda, who is not too special since we've seen him in other sets, but then we get 2 extra Jedi, that being Eth Koth and Quinlan Vos, and on top of that 2 Wolfpack clones, that being a standard Wolfpack trooper, and then Clone Commander Wolf. This is the only variation of Commander Wolf in his clone armor that we've ever seen, and I would really love to see a Phase 2 variation of his armor as well. But either way, this is still a really cool minifigure. The prints are really nice. Yes, it does use that more animated Clone Wars style helmet, but I still do think this trooper looks pretty cool. This is just such a versatile set that I think a fan of LEGO Star Wars from any generation could enjoy. But that will do it for number 7. Let's get on to number 6 here with a set that I think all of you guys knew was going to be on this list. That being set number 75280, the 501st Legion Clone Troopers. This set was released in 2020 after a lot of fan requests, and it retailed for $30 and included 285 pieces. Now this is a set that I can pretty much guarantee that 99% of you guys watching this video probably already have it in your collection. I'm sure a lot of you guys have 3, 4, or even 5 of these sets. This set was obviously meant to be bought multiple times and build your 501st armies, and I think a lot of fans have taken advantage of that opportunity. Now obviously I do have my issues with this set. I generally think it was kind of scummy to make this set $30. I would have liked to see this set be at $15 at the regular battle pack price, but you know what, LEGO is a business after all, and seeing all this hype for this set, I'm sure they wanted to take advantage of that opportunity. I still think the builds here are really over the top. We really didn't need 2 vehicles. Also, the battle droids really didn't need to be in this set either. Anyone buying this set is buying it for the 501st Troopers, and I think LEGO should have respected that and dropped down the price to around 15 bucks. Now, with that aside, I do have to admit this set is absolutely amazing. And one of the reasons it's so amazing is because it was only made due to us, the fans. We campaigned for this for such a long time, and LEGO finally gave in and gave us this set. And they really didn't disappoint. These minifigures are some of the most top-notch and best-looking clone troopers that we've ever seen. They were a little bit controversial since they do use the white arms instead of the blue, but regardless, I still think they're some of the best clone troopers ever made, and when it comes to the Clone Wars variations of clone troopers, I do prefer these. I don't think this is the best battle pack ever made, but when it comes to Clone Wars based battle packs, this has got to be the best one. Because you gotta remember, battle packs like the Utapau Troopers or Kashyyyk Troopers are actually based off of Revenge of the Sith, not the Clone Wars. So this set has got to take the top spot when it comes to battle packs. Anyways, I'm not going to spend too much time on this set. You guys have heard every opinion on earth about this. So let's get on to number 5 here with set number 75046, the Coruscant Police Gunship. This set was released in 2014 and it retailed for $50 and included 481 pieces. Now, if I had to pick a favorite arc from the Clone Wars, I did say it would have to be the Umbara arc, but if I had to pick a second one, it would be this one based around Ahsoka leaving the Jedi Order. Obviously, that was one of the best arcs in the entire Clone Wars series, and this is one of the only sets that we got portraying that moment. Now, looking at the build here first, I think this is one of the most unique looking vehicles from the Star Wars universe. It's pretty much their variation of a police car, and I think LEGO did a great job recreating it. One of the coolest features here is when you pick it up, these bottom wings just fold down and go into flight mode, and that looks exactly how it does in the show, so I think that's pretty well done. But yeah, just this big red visor in the front and then the darker colors everywhere else, it is just such a menacing looking vehicle. Now, aside from the build itself, we do get an awesome selection of minifigures here. Now, like I said earlier, I really don't like the animated eyes used as prints on the faces. Like, Anakin does look really weird, but I do think it looks a little bit better on Ahsoka, just because she has really big eyes and we only really see her in the animated series, so it just seems to fit her character a little bit more. So this Ahsoka minifigure is great, although there's one thing that's always bothered me about this minifigure, and that's the fact that one of her lightsabers is just too long. Like, LEGO has a 3 long rod piece, but they never make it in the translucent green or white that Ahsoka needs. Because as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, Ahsoka has 2 different lengths for her blades, but LEGO never represents that with her minifigure, and they could easily do it. But that is really just nitpicking. And then we have these really awesome clone troopers. Aside from some really old looking clone troopers, these are pretty much the only times that we've seen a shock trooper in LEGO form. And even though these are done in the Clone Wars style with the more animated looking mouth area, I think these are some great looking minifigures and are even some of the best Phase 2 clone troopers that we've ever seen. Red is my favorite color, so having it used here on clone troopers looks great. And yeah, this is just a really great set. I doubt we'll ever see it remade again, but it's really a shame since I think this arc deserves so many more sets based on it. Alright guys, so let's move on to number 4 here with set number 9515, the Malevolence. This set was released all the way back in 2012 and it retailed for $120 and included 1,092 pieces. Now, like we discussed earlier, I love getting large cruisers as LEGO sets, but this is something that LEGO never really makes, especially when it comes to these separatists. Like, we have seen cruisers for pretty much every faction except the CIS, and I'm not sure why, because they have some of the coolest looking ships that we see the most in the Star Wars universe. Like, just think about the opening of episode 3, that entire thing takes place on a separatist cruiser, and we've never seen any of those moments portrayed in LEGO. And I think that's such a missed opportunity because how iconic is the opening to episode 3. Now, the reason that I like this set so much is that it's pretty much the closest thing that we've seen to a separatist cruiser. Yes, I know it doesn't look that much like one. The nose here is completely different and it has these large cannons on either side, but nonetheless, if you want a large CIS ship in LEGO, this is pretty much the only official set that you could buy. And this build is really well done. It has a fairly spacey interior and it also includes a handle so you can pick it up with one hand. And yeah, overall it's just a really cool build, and on top of that you get a great selection of minifigures. Now again, like we talked about earlier, I really don't like the animated eyes, so Anakin does look really weird to me and Padme looks even worse, but somehow Count Dooku here looks pretty okay in the animated style. And Count Dooku, by the way, is a minifigure that we actually rarely ever see in LEGO form. Like, if you really look into it, the last variation of Count Dooku that we ever got was all the way back in 2013. Like, it has been 8 years since we've seen Count Dooku in LEGO. Just think about that for a second. It seems absolutely crazy, right? Like, how does a character like this go missing in LEGO form for that many years? I don't know, man, it's a weird one. I just really want to see a set based on the opening of episode 3. That way we could see this Count Dooku minifigure, a CIS cruiser, and overall just have a set recreating that moment. Anyways, I'm kind of going off on a bit of a rant here. This set is really cool, and it's one of the best large LEGO Star Wars ships that we've ever seen. Alright guys, we're now at our top 3 spots here. So at number 3, we have set number 7674, the V19 Torrent. This set was released all the way back in 2008. Yes, it's really old, and it retailed for $55 and included 471 pieces. Now, this set actually has some personal bias from me. It was a set that I always wanted as a kid, but I could never get my hands on, and it's also one of the most unique looking variations of a Clone Trooper starfighter that we've ever seen. I always liked the ARC 170 starfighters for Clone Troopers, but this thing just took it up a notch for me. Like the way that it lands by folding up its wings and everything, and how it looks in in flight form. I think this is a great looking vehicle. All the hydraulic pieces that are used here and just the engineering behind this set, I think this set looks absolutely awesome. Now I know this vehicle isn't that iconic since I think it only really appears in the beginning of the Clone Wars series. I don't remember it showing up toward the end of the show just because I think at that point they've pretty much phased out all these older starfighters. But even though we didn't see that much of it, I think it's a great looking vehicle. So I know this is one that I think a lot of people will be shocked to see this high up on this list, but it's one that I'm super biased towards, and I absolutely think it deserves this number 3 spot. But that will do it for number 3. Let's get on to our second spot here, and that is going to be set number 10195, the Republic dropship with AT-OT Walker. This set was released all the way back in 2009, and it retailed for $250 and includes 1,758 pieces. Now I know this set sold for $250 at the time, but now it is worth almost 4 or even 5 times that. Like, getting your hands on a brand new version of this set has got to be pretty much impossible. And you can pretty much clearly see why, right? Like, these are two very large Star Wars vehicles in one set, and they interact together. Like the AT-OT here, which is a vehicle that we've never seen again in LEGO form, can actually be picked up by the gunship here. So that is just such an amazing feature that you can recreate from Star Wars. You can pick up this gunship, swoop it down, and then pick up the AT-OT. Now, one of the reasons this set is so desirable is mainly for the Republic dropship itself. We've seen this thing used so many times throughout the Star Wars universe. It's usually dropping off AT-TEs, not AT-OTs, but either way, it's something that is used quite a bit, yet LEGO has only made this set once. And it's just super exclusive and hard to get your hands on at this point, so that is why the value of this set has just skyrocketed. Honestly, I think it might just be cheaper to buy all the parts for this set and then build it yourself. This is just such a weird and awesome set that we don't ever see in LEGO Star Wars. Now, the builds here are absolutely amazing, and they're pretty much going to be the main reason that you're buying these sets, but on top of that, you get a whole bunch of standard Phase 1 clone troopers. I think the set includes 6 regular clone troopers and then 2 clone pilots, which is an awesome selection. So in a way, it's kind of an army builder at the same time, and I think that's perfect for this set. But man, such an awesome set, and I feel so jealous of anyone who has this in their collections. Now, before we go ahead and take a look at the best LEGO Clone Wars set of all time, I did want to take a look at some quick honorable mentions. These are sets that were originally going to be on this list, but just didn't make the cut. Now, because there are so many Clone Wars sets, this honorable mentions is pretty long, but I'm going to fly through it and not give too many details for each set. So, starting in no particular order here, we have set number 7931, the T6 Jedi Shuttle. This set was released in 2011 and it cost $60 and included 389 pieces. Next up is 7676, the Republic Attack Gunship. This set came out in 2008 and it retailed for $120 and included 1,034 pieces. Next up is 7675, the AT-TE Walker. This set was also released in 2008 and it retailed for $90 and included 798 pieces. Next is 7679, the Republic Fighter Tank. This set was released in 2008 and it retailed for $50 and included 592 pieces. I know we got a newer version of this set, I just like the larger build of the old one a little bit better. Next up is 8019, the Republic Attack Shuttle. This set was released in 2009 and it retailed for $60 and included 636 pieces. This is a vehicle that was used so much in the Clone Wars, Maul even used it to escape in the last episode of the final season, but it's one that we haven't seen made in LEGO that often. Next up here is 8014, the Clone Walker Battle Pack. This set was released in 2009 and it retailed for $12 and included 72 pieces. This is pretty much the set that made collecting clone troopers so popular, and it started this whole trend of army building, so I had to give it an honorable mention. Next up, we got 7930, the Bounty Hunter Assault Gunship. This set was released in 2011 and it retailed for $50 and included 389 pieces. This is a great looking vehicle, it's very unique, especially since I love bounty hunters. Next up is 9488, the Elite Clone Trooper and Commando Droid Battle Pack. This set was released in 2012 and it retailed for $13 and included 98 pieces. And this set includes what is arguably one of the best LEGO Star Wars minifigures of all time. Next up, we got 75012, the Bark Speeder with Sidecar. This set came out in 2013 and it retailed for $25 and included 226 pieces. Now this set brand new is worth like at least $300, and that Captain Rex minifigure alone is worth like $100. It's really crazy that we've only seen Phase 2 Captain Rex in one set, considering how popular of a character that he is. Next up, we have 75013, the Umbaran MHC or Mobile Heavy Cannon. This set came out in 2013 and it retailed for $50 and included 493 pieces. Like we talked about earlier, the Umbara arc has got to be my favorite in Clone Wars history, so getting a set like this based on that arc is really awesome. Next up is 75045, the Republic Republic AV7 anti-vehicle cannon. This set came out in 2014 and it retailed for $40 and included 434 pieces. Not only does this set include some great minifigures, but this is one of the coolest builds that we've ever seen, and I think would make a great addition into anyone's clone army. And for our last honorable mention here, we have set number 75214, Anakin's Jedi Starfighter from 2018. This set retailed for $20 and included 247 pieces, and this is an absolute classic of a set. This is the newest variation of this set that we've seen, but I think the build here looks even better, and on top of that, this minifigure doesn't have those animated eyes. But that is pretty much going to do it for our honorable mentions. Let's get on to our final entry in the list here. So guys, the number one best LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars set is 8039, the Venator class Republic attack cruiser. This set was released all the way back in 2009 and it retailed for $120 and included 1,170 pieces. Now, we have talked about this a lot through this entire video, and that is the fact that I love getting large ships from the Star Wars universe in LEGO form. And what better or more iconic ship could you receive from the Clone Wars than the Republic cruiser? It makes absolutely zero sense to me that we've only seen one variation of this set. Like, this is a set that we need remade ASAP. The build here is honestly not even the greatest. We've seen so many better variations when it comes to the mock community, but the fact still remains this is the only official variation of a Republic cruiser that we've ever seen. Like, how iconic have these ships become? We've seen them so much in the movies and Clone Wars in so many different scenarios and battles, yet we only got one set here and we really do need another one. The build here does include a pretty nice interior, and it also has a handle so you can pick it up as well. In general, it does look a little bit stubby in my opinion, like these ships should look a little bit longer, but you know what, it still gets the job done, and I'm sure that anyone that has this in their collection is happy to have it. This set really is all about the build, but you do also get some pretty nice minifigures as well. You get a clone gunner, a clone pilot, 2 Senate commandos, and then the Chancellor in his really weird animated Clone Wars face. So the minifigure selection definitely could have been better, but nonetheless, this set is absolutely awesome, and LEGO really needs to remake it at some point. Like, it doesn't have to be based on the Clone Wars, it could be based on Revenge of the Sith, or even Attack of the Clones. Just give us a new Republic attack cruiser. But yeah guys, that is pretty much going to do it for this top 10 list. Now before you head out, make sure to go down in the comments below and let me know what your top 10 list would look like. Do you guys agree with my picks at all? Do you guys think they're absolutely crazy? And also, what is your favorite LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars set ever made? Whatever you're thinking guys, anything and everything, make sure to leave it down in the comments below. Because the Clone Wars series has come to an end, I do think we're going to get less and less sets from this TV series, but this show is still super iconic and it's so beloved by these Star Wars fans, so I'm sure that LEGO will still revisit this show and make some updated sets from it. I just really want an updated Republic attack cruiser. That is a set that could be based on so many different movies or TV shows, but you know what, LEGO has been good at listening to the fans recently, so hopefully we'll see it soon. But that is pretty much going to do for me guys. If you haven't had a chance to enter the giveaway yet, make sure to do so. But yeah guys, that will pretty much do for me, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.